Hi, Bothered Brigade. Here's what's bothering me today. Turns out, apparently, a good solution or preventative measure for COVID-19 has been with us all along. Turns out, weed and hemp are once again to the rescue, and I am not even joking. There is actually a medical journal that has been published that points this out, and even Bloomberg decided to run a cover article on it. Now, here's the thing, right? This is, again, in addition to vaccines, at least according to the abstract of the paper, but it's still just kind of silly how once again it's like, hey, we can make a lot of things from weed and hemp, right? And yet here's yet another one. So no need for the urine therapy, no need for ivermectin. Just smoke some weed. Just be chill. Please, we all need to be a little more chill these days. So here's the abstract. As a complement to vaccines, small molecule therapeutic agents are needed to treat or prevent infections by severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2, and its variants, which cause COVID-19. Affinity selection mass spectrometry was used for the discovery of botanical ligands to the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein. Cannabinoid acids from hemp, cannabis sativa, were found to be allosteric as well as orthosteric ligands with micromolar affinity for the spike protein. To cut through the scientific jargon there, that just means the spike protein that the coronavirus uses to anchor itself. Cannabis seems to be a good anchor for that instead of say one of ours internally in our body, which is how the virus gets into our body and spreads. So it's like the cannabis is acting like a decoy bonding agent, if that makes any sense. In follow-up virus neutralization assays, cannabigerolic acid and cannabidiolic acid prevented infection of human epithelial cells by a pseudovirus expressing the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein and prevented entry of live SARS-CoV-2 into cells. Importantly, these acids were equally effective against the SARS-CoV-2 alpha variant and the beta variant. Orally bioavailable and with a long history of safe use, these cannabinoids, isolated or in hemp extracts, have the potential to prevent as well as treat infection by SARS-CoV-2. Suddenly, I'm very thankful for all the weed shops, but unfortunately, this is where it gets a little doomer. I wanted to be sure to have a good news story because I got another big ol' pandemic story coming up about how this unfortunately gets worse and why we all need to take care because our governments sure aren't doing the job. But that's, for later and what's coming. But what touches, what this story, if you want to call it that, touches on is how a lot of these various weed shops all around the place, like here in Canada, where it's legal in the States, they've popped up all over the place and are usually backed by some pretty serious, heavy capitalist capital. And unfortunately, that still means a lot of people are in jail for weed-related offenses. And so not only should that end, but it's also really unfortunate to see that this solution, whether it's, by vaccine or not, or a combination of the two, this solution is once again just sending more money to the capitalist class while the working class continue to suffer. And so while this is a good story, this is a good and positive development to see some actual medical research showing that weed may be all you need to help keep COVID-19 at bay. But it is still part of a much larger story of capitalist suffering. Yes, it's a positive development, and we should absolutely celebrate that, and hopefully it works for some people. This means probably a bunch of people have been pretty good. But again, the jury is still out. This is only one paper, right? We need a lot more evidence from a lot more different places and peer-reviewed in order for this to be more certain. But it was a good development. But unfortunately, when I think about the greater aspects behind this development, it still sits just a little uneasy with me. And I'm not sure if other people feel the same way about it, but that's how I'm feeling today. And that feeling is definitely what's bothering me today.